Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Raven Rolls. Your DM, Paul, and we are starting with Shadows over Soothaven. We randomly created this adventure using the Shadows over Drift Chapel adventure kit by uh, the guys over at Absolute Tabletop. I'll provide links. It's Adventure Kit allows you to create the entire adventure either very quickly for a quick one shot, all the way into a campaign. And they also have another product, another adventure kit called Oath of the Frozen King, which I've used on my channel as well. You can check out those videos. And start off with introductions. Jose, you're up.
Hey everybody, my name's Jose, and I'm playing Joseph, who's he's pretty much out here to get away from his dreams that he's having, and just trying to get some work and do something with himself.
All right, thank you, Jose. John, you're up.
Hi, I'm John. I'm on here quite a bit with different channels. I'm about to start my own, which is Crazy Cobalt. And I am going to be playing Lorik Winters. He is a rather woodsman type guy who's dealing with a big problem. He was attacked by wolves and is not sure what's going on with him anymore.
All right, thank you, John. Daniel, you're up.
Hey guys, my name's Dan. I'll be playing Fleric, an ex-Dawnhammer soldier. He lived a life in peace with his dog Briggan before he was called into service, conscripted. But after seeing the horrors of war, he has decided to put his soldier days behind him and seek a life of fortune.
All right, thank you. Cameron, you're up.
I'm going to be playing Alistair Powell, who's a disgraced academic and a warlock. He's primarily trying to find answers about what the gloom actually is and what's causing it.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm going to take this off. I have some stuff I have to fix on the mask to make it more wearable. Okay. So you've arrived at, some of you have been here for a while, and some of you have just arrived here. Soothaven is a small settlement on one of the small islands of the Egfeld Isles. There are a few small farms within its walls, and a small dock used primarily for fishing. The farms consist of a few underfed animals and a few sickly plants and fruit trees. As with most of the people of the Egfeld Isles, citizens are stubborn and scrappy, despite the ever encroaching gloom, and almost total abandonment of support of the crown. A sickness called the Shriek spreads throughout Egfeld and threatens to kill everyone. It has even made its way into the walls of Soothaven. There is just outside of town, because of its remote location, there is a small dirigible landing area. It's more of an open field. That it's a little bit rocky. It's not the best for farming, but so that's why they use it for that. And a blimp flies in over the surprisingly clear day, and there's a bit of a wind picking up, but it's not nothing the dirigible can't handle. And it lands out in not much. No one there to greet aside from a couple people probably to help unload some of the supplies and stuff coming in. And there's a man standing there, and he has a weather-worn face, uh, and mutton chops with a bald head. It looks like he's seen a lot, but he just sits there, quiet, doesn't give out any directions. Everyone seems to know what to do for the landing of the dirigible. He just stands there, just off to the side, watching quietly. He has some padded garments on, and you can make out a faded logo on his sleeve, symbol of the Dawn Hammers. Across his back, he has a sawed-off blunderbuss, uh, but he makes his arms are folded across his chest, and he's just silently watching everything. The dirigible lands, and the ground crew, a few there, just tie it to some secure metal pythons in the ground, and out steps uh, strange little man. I'm gonna say I don't know. Jose, what does your character look like as he steps off the ship?
Let's see. He probably got this like dirty looking like duster. You can see he got some leather on him. He has this little small like dingy brown cloak.
Uh, well, everyone is human. Uh, is he tall? Is he short?
I would say he's probably like 5'9", 5'10".
Um, the voices have been quiet for a little while. Probably as you've been flying, so perhaps you like flying a lot in here. There's just after landing, just faint little whispers, but nothing that you can't block out. You've hearing them for most of your life, probably since you hit puberty. You've been hearing them. Just yeah, young teenager will say his that you started hearing them. But the dreams, you think you might have always had the dreams. You just usually wake up not remembering them, and even to this day, they're always in the background. You wake up sometimes frightened, sometimes uh, well, never happy exactly, but it always sometimes waking up in a cold sweat, and but usually it fades away and you're fine again. But and the voices start sometimes, so it's a mixed bag. As you step off, you recognize that Don Hammer just standing out there uh, watching. He doesn't seem to like he looks over you, but he doesn't stay. He doesn't watch you, but he actually um, he passes over you, looking at the other people disembarking. It. He looks over at you. He a moment of recognition maybe on his face. But you recognize him as Caleb Marshall. He you grew up in the same town together, and you recognize him. He was always a loud, boisterous fellow, and he went off to become a Don Hammer. You went off to maybe slightly different pursuits, but he was an older gentleman before, so you were probably a teenager, and he was in his 30s, maybe. Which is probably yeah. We'll say that. Do you go over to him, or do you avoid eye contact, or something else?
He Jessa would walk by him, and then he would be like, "Caleb, is that you?"
Joseph. Well, what are you doing out here in middle of nowhere?
I just ended up here. I heard there was work to be done over here, so took a chance and took the boat over here. What you doing here?
As you get closer to him, you notice he has his face is a lot more weather worn and a little more like the years haven't been too good to him, and he has a lot claw shaped scars across his face that they've healed a bit, but they're still noticeable and a little deep. But he says, "I I'm in charge of the local militia. Not that get a lot of problems out here, but yeah. So I'm still a mayor of the town, but yeah, between the two of us, we run this place, but I handle mostly the defense and some day to day stuff. If you're looking for a job, eh, they might need there's always a few people, maybe some of the fishermen or sometimes we get supplies in for trade and stuff. So you might be able to find something.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Looking for a place to stay. Uh, I have a well, yeah. You could check at the inn. They don't. No, it's not really an inn. It's but they do have a few spots you could crash there. We don't usually get a lot of visitors here. The tavern there. They might have a place you can crash for now, depending on how long you're going to stay.
It all depends how work is.
And Fleric, you are also disembarking right now. And uh, have you met Caleb before, or is it just from the notes of your mentor?
Yep, I have never met him. Grunbell, my shooting teacher, spoke highly of him. He said he served with him in war, and but that's not the only reason that's brought me to the Egfeld Islands. As I seek for, uh, you know, treasure and glory, and what else can be had here on these rocks. As I step off the dirigible onto the one solid ground again, as I look back and I see Briggan, his whining at the entryway. Come on, boy, off! You can do it. Not it's just a 4-foot jump. He starts to whine. I have to go over there and coax him off the coax him off the planks. There you go. Come on. I'm assuming I see Caleb out in the field.
Yeah, since you don't know exactly what he looks like, but you've heard some of the stories, and then you made the connection with the notes. And seeing here, this man was a Don Hammer, most likely, based on the emblem you see on his arm. But how many Don Hammers could there be here? But he looks like he might be someone important, or at least waiting for something. You could it could be him. He seems
Um,
about the right age and stuff. And you know what? He does have sawed off blunderbuss, and Caleb does have one. And even though your mentor was more with rifles and pistols and all weapons in general, this Caleb focused more on the blunderbuss. He was more an in your face kind of Don Hammer scout.
okay. Well, I definitely move in his direction, seeing that he is someone of authority. As I look around at this godforsaken land, I say, spitting into the earth, Threen, you lying sack of shit. This place has no wealth at all. You look like you're a man of bearing. And a dawn hammer. I see you still wear the medal. Would you be Caleb Marshall?
Yes. What can I do for you? Just want anything else, Joseph? Just come and find me. And he
Yeah,
says the tavern is over that way. You can't miss it.
he would like tip oh, he would take off his cloak and he would like bow down to you too, and he would be like, "All right, you guys have a good day," and he would start walking towards the place.
Actually, Flayrick, do you have anything? First, describe your character, like what he's wearing, and does he have any Dawnhammer emblem or something?
Yes, the only thing that remains of his old life is his open-faced helm, which bore the Dawnhammer symbol at its crown, but it's now been marred off.
So it still is identifiable as a Dawnhammer?
Yes. Yeah, someone that of the association would recognize it, but it's otherwise just looks like, you know,
So,
damaged metal.
Jose, it's up to you if you recognize it as a Dawnhammer, one, depending on if you've come across a lot of Dawnhammers. So it's up to you if you recognize that.
Do you want me to roll or you just want me to know?
Oh, no, it's up to you if you want to know.
I would imagine I would probably know.
Okay. So yeah, you realize he's another, there are two Dawnhammers now in town. I don't know if your character, if he likes Dawnhammers or not, but
I think instead of going to the tavern, he's gonna go around a corner where he can listen into what they're talking about.
this is more of an open area. There isn't an area to go hiding in, but there's some rocks you could go.
Well, he would find like a corner somewhere, and he would look at his map, and far enough where he could hear him, he's gonna act like he's looking at something.
Sure, yeah, you can go over. There's some rocks over there, some large rocks. You could put your backpack down and start going through it, making sure things haven't shifted in the flight, and you making sure you took everything off the ship. You didn't leave anything behind. Um, so yes, what can I do for you?
Oh.
Caleb looks at you, Flair.
You can tell me if there's any gold to be had here, for it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look so. Let me first tell you my name is Flairk, and if you are the Caleb Marshall that my mentor told me about, Grunbell, then you're an honest fellow and one to be trusted.
Flairick, yes, I've heard of you. How is old
Grunbell?
He hasn't sent any. He hasn't corresponded in probably in a few months now.
Well, then I bring ill tidings, for he has passed.
Really good at swiping. Anything about it?
Passed away? Wasn't that old? What happened? Did he catch sickness or something?
Yes, not a warrior's end.
You know what? Maybe we'll talk more of this. Talk of him tonight. Maybe in the tavern tonight. We'll have a drink. We'll talk some about him.
I see you wear your medal, and I gesture to his Dawnhammer amulet.
Oh, I was gonna. Yeah, he actually does have an amulet. It's tucked in. He has a symbol on his.
Oh, on his yes. Then I gesture to that.
Yes, but
I see you wear the emblem.
At this range, you could see there is a heavy chain around his neck, but you don't see the amulet. And some of the officers would have a big, thick amulet with the Dawn Hammer uh, symbol on it. So you can assume that safe to say he does have one underneath. He just doesn't have it out.
I
But
was
yeah, you know that he's a Dawnhammer, and he seems to know that you were probably a Dawnhammer too, obviously with the way you're dressed, and he knows a little bit
Well,
about you.
yeah, it's a little bit. I'm more. I would say a disguise. Like I don't wear anything. I wear chain links over boiled leather. My clothes are well traveled. I wear an open faced helm. Like I said, it does have the Dawnham. It once did have the Dawnhammer symbol um, at its brow, but now it's it's been marred off, and it looks like intentionally so, like it's been um, scraped off.
Oh, okay, so it looks he looks up at your helmet, but he doesn't say anything. He might recognize it as a Dawnhammer look, and he sees the yeah. He looks up at it, but he doesn't say anything.
I
Oh, money?
as
No,
I
no.
see, go ahead.
Yeah, you say no gold to be had here. Few coin. You can make an honest living here, but don't expect to get rich.
At that, I turn back and look at the dirigible and think if it maybe I should just get back on it. Uh, I say, well, I'm here. Um, I wish to leave my past behind me.
Well, it's a good place to lose yourself. If you're looking for work, there's always something to do here. You know, help with the fishermen. Uh, help once we some of the there are some merchants. There's like a small general store there, tavern. Not a lot. We're just trying to we help each other out when we can. So you may not get a lot of coin. You might get a little bit, or you might just get a place to stay and a warm meal for your belly.
Well, that sounds great. Yes, if you could point me to the closest place,
Yeah, there's
a warm bed, and
well, I don't know about a bed, right? But the tavern might have a
uh,
place for you to stay. It might be uh, it's going to be mostly dry, but there might you might have they might have a bed or blanket at least. So it might just be straw.
yeah, I silently curse.
But uh,
Three, the
out
man
here,
that said that I could find fortune here. There's none to be had.
no, not for a while, unless well, there's some old ruins you could try your hand there, but I don't. I think it's been picked clean.
Well, worth a look. Better than fighting dwarves and elves.
Oh, that's true. But
Uh,
yeah, try the tavern. You might be able to get a place to stay and a meal until you can find some work.
yes. Well, you seem a man. Uh, You seem a man concerned with tedium. So I leave you to it.
Yeah, someone comes up to him, hands him a paper. He looks it over, he signs it, and then he nods to you.
Uh, and seeing that the other man was gestured to going to the inn, and that he is also a stranger here, I tried to catch up to him.
Have you guys spoken on the trip on the dirigible or
I don't know. Do you like dogs, Jose?
I mean, who doesn't like dogs?
Cat people?
Sure. He definitely likes dogs.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, we might have
little-
exchanged words.
Actually, I forgot about the dog. The dog has been. How does he normally act with new people?
Yeah, he's pretty friendly, but like unusuals. Like he's been trained to like track elves and dwarves. So most humans he's pretty all right with, unless they are, act skittish or
Uh,
or overly aggressive.
yeah, he seemed to not like Jose for some reason. You don't know. Dogs sometimes have, a little gift. Joseph didn't seem. I'm just. I don't think he seemed like an issue, but your dog didn't really like him. Like he wasn't aggressive. He just or scared. He just didn't seem to like him. If Joseph tried to pet him, he would growl a little, but he wasn't
Oh, okay.
aggressive. Like he
Well,
wouldn't.
that's enough to turn me off then for sure.
That
And
one wasn't even on our original
Caleb,
calendar, so I wasn't.
when Caleb notices him, the dog acts a little odd. He's not scared of him, but he lies down and submissive with Caleb. But Caleb is a bit of an imposing figure. He is actually, I should describe this. He is a large man, maybe a little over. He might be a little overweight. He's like bulky, but he actually looks uh, pretty strong, uh, like an imposing figure. And the dog acts a little subservient to him.
I
Submissive.
find that strange. So, okay, so he is acting subservient.
But then again,
I'll give him a.
is this the first time he's been on a blimp?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and
Um,
neither of us enjoy the experience too much.
yeah, that could be why he was a little odd with Joseph. He, there's just something about him, and maybe it was the thing here. He's acting a little weird, but he's on he's on land again. Maybe he'll get back to normal in a bit. He's just little. He might just be a little off. But then
Okay.
again, as I said, Caleb is an imposing figure, so it could just be that, or it could just be the trip. There wasn't you and Joseph were the only two. You were. Oh, there was one other passenger, but it was more of a merchant. It was basically a merchant dirigible. It was the crew, the merchant captain, and I guess so. You were the only two actual passengers and stuff, and you either paid your way or did some work on there. So as you try to speak to the only person on there, but the crew was always busy. Merchant was always busy, so you probably went to try to make friends with Joseph, but your dog was not too happy. He just probably wanted to be left alone.
Yeah, if Brigand didn't get a good feeling from Jose, then I wouldn't try to track him down. I would just, I mean, I'd probably say, after our first meeting, I would give him wide berth from that point on, and I do so now as I enter town looking for a place to stay, but I stay a good way from this man who doesn't smell right.
He's he's just over. Yeah, he's probably about 10 feet away, going through his belongings, retying probably a loose rope or something, just going through his pack. Uh, I was saying that they finished talking. You heard most of that, and are you gonna stay where you are as he walks by, or are you gonna move now that it appears the conversation's over?
Come on, Regan, let's go.
No, I'm gonna go into town and see if I can find some work or just check the area out, like check where the inn is and anything near it.
Um, yeah, so you head over to the inn, and we're gonna just switch scenes for a moment. Um, Lyric, you're just coming back from you went out to find some herbs and stuff to sell to Gabrielle. I'm just wondering, is Alistair with him, or were you off doing something else?
Yeah, I'm probably at least wandering with him more for the company and to get outside a little bit than much of anything else.
Yeah, one of the reasons you came here to help him out, and you thought this was a little more out of the way, but also you heard a lot of the there were some sightings of some monsters. Nothing like over the years, there's always been sightings of monsters and stuff, and you thought that might be interesting. You heard that the Shriek had come here and a few people had died from it, but it's nothing. You heard it from some people discussing people more into medicine and probably some other artists discussing ways because it is a problem in the Egfeld Isles, but it's someone they're trying to find a cure to it. It's like that's not something that it's there's always been problems with it. Some of the other areas don't seem to care about it, but it's a few problems with it. So you thought maybe come here. Your friend does have some. Lyric has some herbalistic knowledge, and you thought maybe the two of you can help out with some of that, and you can find some information on a few things. What are your specialties usually?
Mine. So Alistair's a bit of an odd duck. He was a researcher and an academic, but after proposing various theories about the Gloam and the nature of how all that works, he was basically drummed out of any of the actual academic circles. So since then, he's just kind of been wandering along the way he met Lyric. But his patron as a warlock is a great old one, who he calls Evrodra. So he's a little off simply because of the nature of the great old ones. And he carries a spell book strapped to his waist, which he rarely seems to actually open. He just keeps it hanging there.
Anything unique about the book, or it just looks like an old?
It looks like a very old, beat up, leather bound, more like a notebook than an actual, like, published tome of any real sort.
Is it just natural brown, or is it dyed a different color?
Probably just weathered brown. But that's his. When offered the choice, he went with the Pact of the Tome because he wanted that knowledge. So he has access to a few spells that aren't typical for someone of his skill set.
So you figure usually talks of monsters could be gloam infected creatures. It could just be wild animal. You don't know the specifics like all the time. Like from what you've seen, there's a chance it could be gloam infected. So you heard some rumors of monsters. Nothing like monster terrorizing the the town, but you've heard of monsters in general. So and with the Shriek here, you figure combination of things. The Shriek, um, actually, do you have medicine trained?
I don't believe so. I went with more knowledge-based things. No, nope. I've got Arcana, History, Investigation, things like that.
Give me Arcana or History, whichever one, if it happens to be a better one.
Looks like they're both even. 22.
Okay, let's see. One moment. I'm going to pull it up. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. That's Margaret. Where's he? Okay, here we go. So a sickness known as the Shriek spreads throughout Egfeld, so named for the shrill sound its victims make in their final hours. Um, so you know that you believe that it's caused by the Gloam infecting people, but you're not certain exactly because it's not. People have been touched by the Gloam, and not everyone gets the Shriek. Like they've been affected, and it will will hurt them, like it will kill them, or it would turn them into something different. So this is not normal for the Gloam. So you might have wanted to come by and study it if it is directly from the Gloam, or if there's something in between altering it and infecting people.
Sure, that makes sense.
But here so you've heard a few people here, not as much as the rest of Eggfield, but a few people here, but you're not entirely certain if it's just starting here or if there's something about this area that is keeping people from being infected, at least not as much as everywhere else. It just could be it's the location that it's too far out, so there's not a lot of cases. It could be something helping the people not to get infected, something, or another reason you don't know. So that could be one of the reasons you're here as well. So a few
Yeah,
reasons.
absolutely. I mean, that's kind of Alistair's thing is research and knowledge for the sake of learning more knowledge.
Yes. Okay, so as I said, to get back, Lyric is coming back. The two of you are coming back from so Alistair and Lyric are coming back from collecting herbs and stuff. Uh, were you doing anything specific, Alistair, on this while Lyric was out collecting things, aside from just keeping an eye on him?
No, probably nothing in particular. I mean, I always carry a book, a journal with me, so I may have been jotting notes or thoughts just as I wandered, but probably nothing terribly important.
With you is one of the militia. Occasionally, Caleb doesn't like people going out alone, even two people, so he sent out one of the militia uh, to help keep an eye on things. He goes, an extra set of eyes doesn't hurt. It the militia guy doesn't say a lot to you. If you speak to him, he will answer. He's not exactly rude, but you have an odd vibe about you, and Lyric has been a bit more of an outsider than anything. And place that Lyric found was I guess the both of you could stay an old stone house just outside of town. Lyric took it over for himself. And that's where he stays. So he's close enough you can see the town, but not directly in it. Now you could choose to stay with him over there, or you could have a place in town. You have, even though you've been sort of snubbed by your fellow Ordists, you still maintain the status of an Ordist. So you do have a certain authority. You could request a nicer place if you wanted.
No, that's fine. I mean, as long as I've got a cot to sleep on and a table where I can read and write, I don't really need much of anything more fancy than that.
Yeah, this place would have a loft area. It's like a one room building, but then there's a loft area that's divided. So there's two sleeping areas. One was probably parents, another one children, and then down there there's a open area, small kitchen area, and a table and stuff. It's not the nicest, but it's functional. And there's probably lost Daniel again. It's probably one area set. One There's probably a couple tables. One is set up more uh, mortars, pestles, little nippers for the basically what Lyric uses, and the other area is probably a little more. Actually, it's probably more as a smaller table, a chair. You managed to find a rocking chair. I'm just if that's what you like, a rocking chair, a nice comfortable area for reading and stuff, and a smaller table that you could do any experiments or stuff that you wanted to do. So you guys are getting back, the three of you. You get back to you're passing by your dwelling. The militia say yeah we'll say she nods to you and she heads back into town probably to report over to Caleb. Uh, what are you guys look to do now? John?
I would probably head into town to go ahead and get rid of the more exotic of the herbs that I got.
Alistair, will you join them in town, or are you going to stay at your
No,
town?
I'll wander in as well. Cause so this Gabrielle that we know, is she like the local alchemist, herbalist, healer type thing?
Yes, she is not an artist, so she doesn't have, as far as you know, she doesn't have any magic. Not that she's shown you. Um, she's uh, late 30s, thick woman with short dark hair, broad nose, and she's always looks tired, but always has a smile on her face. People come in at all hours. They're sick, something they need a local remedy, things like that. She wears pretty simple clothing, mostly hides, furs. Does get a little cold here sometimes, so she has like a fur wrap. You can see her always. She rarely leaves her little dwelling. It's also mostly stone with a wood roof. And I said, you've known her. She's awake at all hours. You don't even know if she does sleep.
Okay, yeah, I'll go into town with him to
She, the
so I
odd
can
time
try and
she
talk
will.
with her just to find out if there's any new cases of the Shriek or anything else that we should be aware of.
Yeah, she walks. The time she does walk around, she does have uh, an odd looking staff, uh, and she uses it to walk around from one area to another. But as I said, she rarely leaves. She, especially now that you learned that with Fleric, no, sorry, Lyric in town, she doesn't go out anymore. She used to spend time heading out, looking for stuff and getting lost. She doesn't have a good sense of direction. Uh, you know that. Well, maybe the two. You know what? You could both have been here the same amount of time. You and Lyric found her. one day lost, and that's how you came to know her. Like you probably knew of her, but you got to know her better. And Fleric is offer. Keep saying Fleric. Lyric. Lyric has offered to collect the supplies for her and bring them in, help her with herself and everything. Um, so as you guys head over to her place, obviously it's early morning. You guys probably saw the dirigible land outside of town, uh, and you guys are making your way. That's a common thing. Maybe once every few months, you've probably seen it since you guys have been here about 6 months. Yeah, you've probably seen it uh, 3 or 4 times, and so it's a common enough occurrence. But you guys make your way over to her little building. You can see a little smoke coming from her chimney. You guys head over to her place. You guys just walk in. She has an open door policy, but it's up to you if you just gonna walk in or if you're gonna knock. John, Cameron.
At this point, I would probably just walk in.
Okay, so you guys head in. Oh, Cameron, Alistair, does he have his familiar out?
Yeah,
And what
yeah.
was it again?
It's a black and white tabby cat by the name of Tally,
That will
and
do.
she's been following us around, probably looking for some small rodent to eat while we were out in the woods, squirrel or something like that.
She's probably carrying one right now, following you guys, waiting for you guys to stop moving, I guess. But yeah, you think she's caught something, and she's holding it in her mouth. And you make it into to see Gabrielle, and the cat is used to this, and it goes off into a corner somewhere. And we'll say there's another cat here, uh, and actually, I guess your cat is sharing. They go off and they eat what your cat brought in. Uh, Gabrielle notice you. Oh, my friends, welcome. What have you got for me today? Hope all is well. You didn't have any problems outside.
Not so much.
Good, good. Come here, come here. She gestures you to the a table. She moves a few things out of the way.
Um, a brief description of Lark, real quick. He's very Native American in style. So he's got this pulled back ponytail with this up frill of shockingly white hair. For a guy in his early 20s, it's rather odd. And everyone is convinced he's going to die of some sort of cold. Because, by all accounts, very few men in the town would even consider what he wears normally even bedwear. It's just a pair of breeches of leather breeches that he makes and a very short cloak. So he goes up to her and drops the bag, and he's sorted it like he normally does for her. So they're nicely prepared.
Oh, thank you. I've been waiting for some worm root and some uh, blackened leaves. Um, so yes, she takes some and she starts mixing it right away. Just one moment here, and she mixes some. Just have a patient who needs this right away. One moment, and she goes off to the side. There's an area with some beds and some, I guess you could call them curtains, to give each one a little bit of privacy. And she goes in and applies one to someone, and she comes back. Yes. So what do you normally trade with her for? A few coin, for food, just or services, or just what? How do you go about?
She helps to keep my herbal kit, my healer's kit's pretty full. There's occasionally a couple coins, but mainly the big thing is she gets them off of my back about not going out and complaining about the guy who's living just outside the city.
So today she says, don't have much for coin, but tree you've been tending in my yard uh, has a few apples. Help yourself, and not the best of apples, but hey, it's better than it's been in a while. Yeah, help yourself to there, and she has a few copper coins. She slides your way on the table.
Hmm.
And does she know about your? Does she know about you or no?
She knows that I was attacked a long time ago, or a while back. And she helped to stitch me up, but other than that,
She how are your wounds? How are they healing? Are they nice?
eh,
Take a look.
with with that, I turn around and show her my back, pulling aside the cloak a little,
So
and they've pretty much healed up, but it's just some pretty nasty claw marks.
she's here. Let me put some of this. It may help reduce the scars a bit. And if you let her, she'll rub something onto your back,
Okay.
which yeah, you recognize it's something more for scars. You don't usually make stuff like that, but it doesn't hurt. You're usually a little more practical in what you make.
Hmm.
Uh, and she says, "You know what? I have something else." She hands you a salve, uh, two of them, one each. Essentially, they're healing potions, but they're salves. Here, I managed with your last delivery. Your last collection. I managed to make these. If
Oh, they're
you need them.
amazing. And he says, "Why don't I go see about your tree?"
Yes, so you could take a help yourself to what apples there are on there. And
And I'm gonna go out the back to the tree.
she smiles. Have a lovely day, and I have to get back to my patient. So she yawns a bit, stretches, and makes her way back to looking after her patients. So, is Alistair going to the tree as well?
Yeah. I'll follow Lyric outside.
Okay. You both give me a knowledge nature check if you want, and watching the tree. And
Well, I rolled amazingly, so that's actually an 18. Considering intelligence is not my strong suit.
I got an 11.
yeah, you're not big on the on nature and stuff, but usually, um, but Lyric, you have a gift sometimes, and trees looking a lot better than it did when you first came to town. It
Well,
doesn't.
I'm gonna tend any of the dead branches, and as I do this, I'm going to go ahead and cast Goodberry on the tree. So
Okay, I'm back. Daniel, I can hear sounds. Cameron is back. How about John and Jose?
I'm back.
I'm here too.
I heard that. Okay,
Sorry.
Daniel, you ready? I think everyone heard the burp. um, just need a confirmation. Daniel, can you say something? Oh, no, Daniel can't hear me.
Daniel, you there? I know Google Hangouts has been giving him a problem.
Yeah. Maybe he's not there. Okay, we'll give him another couple minutes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, you can't. Okay. Okay, we're good. So
Say that again.
that's good. We're going to start up again. Now, everyone, well, except Fleric, you guys see what looks like a large animal, a bear, maybe. You can't really see uh, clearly, but it is black, and but it looks weird. It's not like it doesn't look like a normal bear. It looks it's this large creature with misshapen, uh, like some of its limbs look a little longer, and has black fur, but like a deep, deep black. And you can also see it's hard to tell, but there's some bits of it almost floating up like water or ink or something. It's hard to tell from here, and it's moving at full speed towards towards the town. Roll initiative. Oh, good. Yeah, I was going to say post it into. I said nobody's talking. That's good. Posting it in the side here.
Is anyone there?
Yep, sorry, I'm just getting the.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that it didn't drop.
You guys all. Well, half of you have interesting names, we'll say. And I'm trying to call them out here.
Making fun of my name, huh?
Yeah, it's a little difficult. It's Josef. I don't know. How do you pronounce it? They with an F sound at the end?
Something
I'm
like that.
kidding. At last party, last game I ran in this campaign, first combat, the enemies rolled low, and the heroes rolled high. Now it's the opposite. This creature seems to be moving unnaturally fast, and it goes leaping, lands on the militia, and starts tearing it apart. Caleb just stands there and starts barking out orders, and they start firing. Him and the militia behind the wall start firing. This thing is just feet away from Caleb. He's not flinching. He's just ordering everyone start firing. And they shoot into the creature, and the bullets seem to just disappear into the inky blackness that's around this creature. Fleric, you hear an unnatural howl, and you can hear a scream. Someone you've probably heard before, someone being ripped to shreds. You've been around people dying before. Uh, what do you do? So you haven't seen it. You haven't seen it yet. You're just possibly around the corner. So what do you do?
Okay, so am I within the walls of the town?
Yes, you're probably just around a building. You just haven't made the corner to see the front, the entrance to the town, or right now.
Well, if I hear a cry of something unnatural, I turn to Brigand. Stay, boy. Stay. I'll check it out. As I creep to the corner or to the noise, but still hold my cover as much as possible. Having my gun ready, I peer to get a look at the creature or the noise.
Okay, so you see what I described this. It's the size of a large bear, and but it's covered in this inky. It looks like ink, but there's little bits of it dripping upwards. You know. Well, I know Cameron's character for sure will know. You might know as well, and this is the Gloam, and it has just covered this creature
But it
entirely.
otherwise has the bearing of like a bear, and it
It's
walks.
it's hard to tell.
It's a
It's not.
quadruped.
It is the front. It was running on all fours. Well, not that you saw that. The front legs are a little bit longer, but it still managed with a surprising speed. And these claws, and it's just tearing into this creature, to this militia. Um, Actually, it's the same militia that you guys were out with this morning. She's just getting ripped. Oh no, sorry, this is a different one because this one was out scouting. Um, he's getting ripped to shreds from these claws and from the teeth. This thing is just ripping into him, and you see the bullets fly into him and disappear into the creature and disappear into the inky blackness, almost like something falling into a thick black, for I guess our intents purposes, a thick black oil or something. Like it's viscous thing, but it looks like it just drips in, and a little, almost like a splash of this blackness.
All right. Did the bolt seem to be having an effect, or is it just?
You can't tell with this gloam surrounding this creature.
Okay. Have I have any in my war history? Have I had any experience with such creatures?
You may have fought gloam infected creatures like this, but this is a little odd. It's a little different than what you may have come across.
Well, I think no more of it then. This creature has no place in our world as I raise my gun to fire, and I do so. And it's 17 on the die, so 24.
That hits.
Okay. The powder goes off, and he'll take. And I'm not. Do I add my dexterity modifier to the damage with a gun?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Well, then it will take
Oh,
11
sorry.
points.
Yeah. Sorry, that's right. You do, yeah, the dex mod to the damage, not the proficiency.
Then it'll take 11 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And I once again start reloading my gun, an act I've done many times before, and I can do so quickly.
Okay, so you have the feat. All right. Okay, so you fire into it. Your bullet disappears into it. You can't tell if it affected it or not. Lyric, do you know that? Have you seen come into contact with the gloam before? John?
No, I haven't.
So you have, but do you know? Obviously, you know what the gloam is. Can you identify this? You may not have seen it before or how it affects creatures, but you're pretty certain that is the gloam, not something.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a major world thing. The humans
Mm-hmm.
released years ago, and it's slowly consuming the world.
Well, I will take a shot at it.
Go ahead.
And that will probably horribly miss. That's an modified 12.
Yeah, you think you go shooting at it, but you miss it by a few inches. It's Is there anything else you wanted to do?
I'm going to look around and see if anyone appears to be injured
Right
to
now,
a point that they're down.
just the one that it's ripping to shreds. It hasn't. It just got to that one. It hasn't gone inside yet, but it's only a few feet away from Caleb, who's standing right in the entrance there.
What I'm going to do is if I think when it leaves him, if I think that he's still alive, I'm going to call out to him. He's moved on. Get over here. And if so, that will be a use of healing word.
So, are you readying an action? This basically means you cast.
Well, I can't ready a bonus action. So next turn, if he's not actually dead.
That's right. You used an action already. Okay, so okay, that's fine. Joseph, have you come across the gloam before?
I would imagine he would have nothing like this though, but
You may have seen it various spots. Like usually, like you could go out in the water here and probably see it further out. um, you might have seen it before, but maybe not around a creature like this before. What do you do?
If I'm allowed to, I want to search in my backpack and get a torch and light it and throw it at it.
Okay, give me. It's actually a strength. Um, give me a strength roll. I'll give you proficiency.
I got a 13.
Yeah, you throw it over Caleb's shoulder, and it lands near the creature, and the flames start touching it. Give me a d6 damage.
3.
You hear the creature scream a bit, and you can see that some of the gloam has burnt off, and you can see um, a deep brown fur underneath, uh, matted a bit. Possibly, it looks like it might be wet, but you can obviously see the difference in color, and that's the creature underneath, whatever this is.
Gotcha. And I wanna try to like flank the creature if possible, like get behind it, but not really close to it.
Um, the entrance, Caleb is blocking it. You could get past him, but it's a little close to the creature, so you'd probably have to jump over the wall. You can give me acrobatics or athletics to just hop over the wall.
I'll do acrobatics.
Do you have the thief subclass?
Yeah, I got something that lets me. What's it called? Second story work.
Yes. And what is that again? It's been a while since I've looked at that one.
It says you gain the ability to climb faster than normal. Climbing no longer costs you extra movement in addition.
What a coincidence. That's exactly what you're doing. Okay, so give me acrobatics check.
I got a 14.
Yeah, it's not a it's not a tall wall. You parkour from a building, and you clear the wall no problem, and tumble across from the creature. Do you want to be right against it?
No, I want to be like behind it, but I want to be like a few feet behind it.
Sure. Yeah, you tumble the opposite side, so you you're not in melee range, but you're flanking with Caleb. Uh, Sorry, guys. Hold on a second. Again, another call. Okay. So yeah, so you're sort of flanking. You're not in melee range, but you are flanking with on opposite side of Caleb.
Correct.
Is there anything else you're going to do?
No, that would be my turn.
Okay, Alistair.
Alistair is going to take a few steps forward and then twist his hands in a strange pattern before a beam of crackling purplish energy will fire at the messed up bear thing. I got a 23 to hit with Eldritch Blast.
That hits.
Then it's a D10. 7 damage.
Okay. That creature, it goes right through and blasts away. You see some of the gloam separate. You don't know if you actually did damage to the gloam around it, but you see what could be some blood coming up, and you see a little patch of fur. Maybe you hit the spot that was burnt away, and yeah, you see a little bit of blood coming up. You think you hit the bear creature, uh, and it roars this unearthly roar, and it's loud. Like if you weren't standing this close, if you were on the other end of town, you probably still would have heard it. And is there anything else?
Nope, that's it. I'm just making sure that Tally's right here next to me somewhere so she doesn't go rushing in and get clobbered by this thing.
Now, this wolf creature is just ripping apart, but it stops for a moment and looks up. It looks right at Caleb and roars, and it goes. It leaves the militia men on the ground. You don't know if he's still alive or not, and it actually avoids Caleb for some reason and jumps over the wall and lands on one of the other militia. You think it might be coming towards you guys, but it landed on one of the militia and pinned him to the ground. But it doesn't look like it did some damage to him, but it doesn't look like it didn't actually attack. It like pounced on, landed, and it's slowly making its way towards you guys who are out there, like inside the town. Caleb pulls off his blunderbuss and he swears under his breath. He pulls off his blunderbuss and he reaches in. He pulls out some shot that, and he looks like he sighs and loads it up. Let's see. I will give Alistair. You can give me a check. Actually, anyone who's inside except for Joseph. Yeah, so everyone who's inside can give me uh, a nature check. I will give Fleric an advantage on this.
Does this have anything to do with animals? Because I am proficient in animal handling.
No.
Okay.
I'm doing a nature check only because, yeah. Oh, so with advantage, you got a 13. So, what did you get, John?
With my -1, that is actually a 17.
Okay, you managed to get a good look. The shot that he is loading this is not your standard shot. It actually, there's a bit of a shine to it. The lead balls are probably a darker gray that are used in or iron pellets. I don't know. Whatever the bullets are usually a darker gray. This is a lighter gray and almost has a bit of a shine to it. It's the same size. It just looks like a different sort of ammo he loads his gun with, and he loads it up and he fires at this creature. and he fires in, and it goes right through into the creature, and it screams. And the militia all fire into it as well. Their bullets seem to disappear into the gloam surrounding this creature. Fleric, what are you doing?
Okay, so it was outside the wall when I took my first shot. Then it leaped over the wall, and now it's inside the town.
Yeah, it's not in melee range of you, but it's actually I'm gonna say yes. It's in melee range of Fleric, Lyric, and Alistair pretty much. Although I think Lyric it's actually melee range with you, and then the other two are like it can easily attack all three of you.
Oh, well then, I will. Seeing it's now within striking distance of a sword, I
think you can shoot in melee range with your feet.
think that's sharpshooter without incurring a
Oh, it's not.
penalty.
Are you sure? I thought it was or maybe it's with a pistol.
Oh no, you can do that. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. So you have that option. Everyone else will have disadvantage in melee range if they shoot with a ranged weapon.
No, I abandoned the gun now that we're here in the thick, and
now you probably have to drop your gun, and then you could.
I do so. I do absolutely do so.
Okay.
I do so, and as I move into combat, I ready my shield as I just pull it right off my back, spending that action to don it, and then action surge as I plow into this creature with the longsword, and I'll expend a superiority die to come in first with a feint and then drive my sword right across the center of it. So it's going to be.
I have to roll against your DC.
Unfortunately, I can't capitalize. I'm summoning 9 misses.
Yeah, so you don't have to use a superiority die unless
it's a hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're using it as a bonus action, correct? I think that's how it works. Or no? Feint.
A feint. I think feint may be a.
All right. Feinting attack. You can expend 1 superiority die and use a bonus action on your turn to feint, choosing a creature. You have advantage on your next attack roll.
Oh, advantage.
Okay, so I don't have to roll. So yeah, you can roll again.
11?
No, sorry.
No. All
so
right then.
you use up the superiority die is used in this case.
Okay, sounds good. Yep.
So yeah, you've never been this close to a creature like this, and it is a lot bigger than you. And your dog is probably growling at it right now.
Well, he's back behind the building. I told him to stay.
He's still growling. He is staying for now. But yeah, so yeah, you were like switching weapons, trying to do this, and yeah, it's a little overwhelming. This thing right in your face. Lyric, what are you going to do? You're with melee range of this creature.
Does the other guardsman look to be any chance of life?
You have to get up closer. I'm going to say that you were a little further back, so you're not engaged.
Okay.
So you can move around over to the body and examine it. If you give me a a heal check.
Okay. That is going to be a 19.
You managed to examine. You stabilize him. He was bleeding out, but he is still very much alive, and you managed to stabilize and bandage him up quickly.
Well, I have the healer's feat, so that puts him at 1 HP.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to keep my eye out, putting him behind me and keeping my bow out,
Okay.
so that if he comes at me.
All right. So yeah. So you draw your bow and you turn around. Okay. Joseph, you were in a good spot, but it ran away from you. What are you going to do? You can make it. You can go through the. You can run up behind it if you want to be in melee range.
I'll run up behind. I want to get 5 feet within let's see Flaric, so that way I can get my sneak attack on it
Sure.
and just shoot it in the back.
Do you have a crossbow expert feat?
Nope.
So it would be disadvantage, so you can't get sneak attack unless you draw a melee weapon. Or you can shoot and get sneak attack because he's within 5 feet of it.
But I get disadvantage on it.
No. If you go into melee range with a gun, you
No,
won't be.
I'm not trying to go in melee
Oh.
range. I'm just trying to go within 5 feet of him, and then take a shot.
Oh, you can just move over to where the wall is, where the militia was standing, just opposite them, and get a shot at it from
Okay.
here.
I'll do that.
So you have cover if it comes. Well, if it attacks you from this side, but yeah. So you go. You can and you get your sneak attack.
Just a 16 hit.
It does.
So, dumb question, but do I do my normal attack or do I just do the sneak attack?
Well, no, yeah. You roll. So now that you hit, you roll your weapon damage plus 1d6, 2d6,
To this, okay.
and then you add your dex mod. So whatever, yeah, your normal weapon damage plus 2d6.
Okay, so total it would be 16 damage.
You look. Yeah, you shoot into it. It disappears into the inky blackness, but you see some blood spurt out. You found you found like a weak point on it, and you probably at the base of the head, and you shot it right there, but it's still standing.
Gotcha. And as a bonus action, I can disengage, right?
Well, no, you're not in melee range.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I'll
basically
use the hide action then.
you were still outside. You were there was like a half wall. The militia was
Okay,
standing on
I
one
got
side,
you. So he don't
shooting
see
out.
me.
So you're outside shooting in, basically.
Gotcha. That works for me.
Yeah, unless it jumps back over, you have half cover if it comes to attack you.
Okay. Well, that would be it for my turn.
All right, Alistair, it's within a few feet of you. What do you do?
Well, it didn't seem to appreciate the Eldritch Blast, and that's honestly my best option in combat. So I'm going to take a few steps back and send another one. That's only an 11 to hit.
That misses,
Okay.
unfortunately. Flair, can you give me an animal handling? Do you have animal handling?
I certainly do.
Can you give me an animal handling check with advantage?
That would be 15.
Yeah, your dog is growling at this point, but it is staying right where it is right now. It's not coming any closer. But the wolf does swipe at you.
Come at me, beast.
What's your AC?
With the shield now, 18.
It swipes at you and it goes right off your shield. If you didn't have the shield, it actually would have hit you. Got a 17.
Axe and surge.
Yeah. So yeah, it swipes at you and one claw and swipes next. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give it. So I'm being mean. Another attack. 17 again. So the first swipe, it missed you. Second swipe, it claws your armor, and then it bites again, but it can't penetrate your armor right now.
Yeah, I set my shield up in between his jaw, just trying to hold it open as I draw back.
Can you give me a D10 roll?
That's 10 on the die.
I just got to switch 10 on the die. As it bit you, some of the gloam did come into contact with you. Whether or not you noticed, you can't. You think it's gone into your pack, and it just dripping from this creature, and all your food and water has been tainted. You know it, and you you need to get rid of it before it taints you. So your
Okay.
first action when you get a chance, you want to throw away this food before it infects you. Okay. Caleb, yeah, lets off another shot. He reloads and lets off another shot. And you could tell it's something what you've seen of him for those who have never met him. Just how you saw him just today, he basically looks like he's seen a lot of battle, and he has been so like he looks like he should be fine in this, but he something is off with him, and he fires, and he is completely wide of the mark. He shoots like almost like up into the air, like he wasn't trying to even hit it. You have no idea why. The militia all fire into it, and yeah, all their bullets just disappear again. Some of them go to the other side of the wall, so they're on the outside, so they have some cover in case it attacks back at them. The one that was on the ground, he looks scratched up, but he's seems like he's still fine, and he moves over to the other side of the wall as well, gets some cover. Fleric, you are toe to toe with this creature, and you can't seem to get past, seem to hit it. What do you do now?
Well, I'll try to feint again using another superiority dice.
Okay.
As I try to bring the long sword to bear against it. Better on the dice this time. So it's going to be an 18.
That hits.
Okay. And I think I add it's a D8, right? To add to damage. I add my superiority dice to the damage.
I think so, yes.
Yep. Okay. So it's going to be 9 points of slashing damage. I'm sorry, eight points of slashing damage.
What's your weapon again?
It's a longsword.
So you come slashing down with your longsword. You hack off a chunk of its flesh, and the gloam falls down onto the ground. but it is still standing. You just don't know it. Blood is spilling out, pooling on the ground, mixing with the gloam into this. So the red blood and the inky blackness are just pooling together on the ground. Lyric, what are you doing?
The guy's behind me, right? And he's up and fine now, right? Other than being a little dazed.
He's not standing. Like he looks like he was trying to compose himself. He is still badly injured, but he is stable for now. With the right help, you're certain he will survive. It's just he may be
You here. I've done all I can for you right now. Either get out of here or get your bow. And with that, I'm going to take a shot at it and kind of looking, observing the area so I know what's going on. Oh, that's a 23 to hit.
That's a hit.
And it will be for 10 damage.
How do you want to do this? You finish it off.
All of these guys with these big fancy weapons are going nuts. This guy pulls out a simple little bow, does a shot, goes right in the ear, and it drops.
You see, after that, Fleric attacked and hacked off a good chunk of it. A big part of the creature was exposed. And you found a nice opening and shot right through to it. This is like one of the best shots you've done. And it finished off this creature. And as it collapses to the ground, the inkiness off of it starts dripping off. Caleb seems to recover a bit and points to three of the three more able-bodied ones, well, two of them, and say, you out there, go check, stay close, and keep an eye, see if there's any more coming. Points to the one that was partially injured. Take this one, and and another guard. He says, two of you take him to Gabrielle, and bring back as fast as you can. Bring back. Tell her what happened here, and she'll give you something for this. The rest of you, stay back. Don't touch that thing. What do you guys do now? Like, he is just this loud, powerful voice. He's like regained himself, and he says, stand back. And he actually goes up to the creature that is now being the gloam is just falling off, and he pulls the creature away from the gloam with his immense strength, and he just pulls it out of the way. You guys can see now, it's obvious it is not a bear. It actually looks very wolf-like. And it looks like it's a large wolf creature, and he's just dragging it out of the way, actually dragging it outside away from the gloam. And he's anyone either he's not going far, he's just going just outside, dragging it away from the gloam. What do you guys do now?
So I understand the gloam acts as like some type of viscous skin that surrounds the creature, and it can be like manipulated with your hands.
I wouldn't recommend it. But yes, think of it as...
Although Caleb did so.
Well, no, it's he didn't touch. He has gloves on, and he's pulling the creature out and then this liquid is still where the creature fell. That's where the liquid is. He's pulling the body of this creature.
Gotcha. And is
he's
it
pulling it outside? Yes.
But the gloam doesn't like try to like cling on to it now that it's dead?
The gloam, you don't know if alive or dead. You don't really know much about it. But it is still moving, but not that much. It looks like it's still. If it was alive, it is still alive in a sense. Maybe it's dying. You wouldn't know unless you wanted to roll a Arcana check.
I mean, no, I really don't care either way. If it's not moving, then I give it no more cause
Well,
for concern.
it is moving, just not sorry. Like moving. No, it is, but it is still thrashing a bit. Sorry, Cameron, did you say something, or was it John?
I was the one.
John.
Can I do a survival check to see what I know about the gloom, because it is pretty much the environment now?
I can give you some information with that. You can do a survival check, but it's more how to. It's not so much knowledge; it's more of how to deal with it.
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay.
And that's a 19.
You know that you could probably touch it with a leather glove, but not for long, maybe. You don't want to touch it with your bare hands or get it on you.
Well, I kind of figured that. What I was mainly going for is, how do we normally deal with it?
You could try to burn it or contain it if you have a vial or something that can hold it. Oh, sorry, Fleric. You were looking at it, but the first thing you wanted to do was throw away all your water and rations as far as you can away from you, because it's been tainted.
Yeah, as I go through my pack, and I can see maybe it's starting to like blacken my package. I like immediately inspect this, and I start just expelling it onto the ground, onto the streets. I'm like, ah.
You don't see. Yeah, you don't see anything. It's all over. It's got infected because it was just dripping on you. You know that all your food and water has been infected, and you don't want to be touching this, so you want to get rid of it as soon as possible.
Yeah, with gloved hands, I get rid of all of my perishables.
You guys see him just throwing.
As he starts to do that, I shout, "Toss it on it. We got to burn it." And I'm striking a torch.
Well, I listened to him.
And burn the Gloam also.
He said, Caleb says, yeah, Caleb's outside. Joseph, you're outside, and Alistair, you're within a few feet of the gloam. Do you do anything? Cameron, are you there?
I am sorry, I got trapped on the wrong tab and couldn't find the right one. Yeah, I'm gonna move forward and inspect the mess on the ground, but after kind of a cursory look at it, I've presumably seen this a bunch of times, so I'm gonna go chasing after Caleb.
Smile when I say that.
Okay. So you toss him one small apple to Fleric?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's one of the good berry apples.
Thank you.
Joseph lights it up, and you guys, the heat is a lot. If anyone is standing too close, you felt a little bit. Maybe your eyebrows burnt a little. It just flares up and starts burning all this gloam. It's a good thing you're not near anything flammable. And Alistair, can you give me? I'm gonna say a knowledge nature check, or I'll give you Arcana, but it will be harder. The Arcana check.
Nature's fine. I rolled a natural 20, so that's a 22.
You know exactly what this is for various reasons, and I'm going to send you a message.
Okay.
You can decide whether or not. Oh, have you been getting my Facebook messages? You have.
I have gotten them in the past.
Hold on. Your last name is McVean, or am I the wrong Cameron?
No, that's it.
Yeah, I sent you 2 messages, but it doesn't look like you received them. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I don't know in a while.
Let me go to Discord. That'll be easier.
There we go. I just sent something to you, and now it's saying that we can send stuff back and forth. But whichever way is fine.
Okay, now you got them. All right.
Okay.
And basically, Caleb is doing something odd. He knows you're there, but he's not looking up at you. He's actually looks like he's examining the body, and he looks like he might actually be bandaging it up a little. And you can see now that the gloam is fully off, there is. Can you give me a perception check, actually?
Yeah, sure. 15.
Before you got up to him, like you were still walking, and you saw him. There was something around the waist of the creature, and you saw him trying to quickly take it off and stuff it in his pack. You don't know exactly why, and he did it rather. He did it pretty quickly and hasty, and it was obvious what he was doing. He took it off and he put it into his to a bag. Do you say anything to him?
I think once I get closer, so that I can speak kind of quietly to him and attempt to make sure that nobody else actually overhears us, I can say, oh, Captain, this might be a problem. I'm pretty sure that's a werewolf.
He looks up at you. And he says, "Keep your voice down." You were quiet, but he says, "Keep your voice down." I know, but it's not what you think. I don't have time to explain this. I'm gonna need you to trust me on this for now. I will explain later, but right now I have to. I have to get this. I have to get it away right now. Can
Okay.
you just you know a bit about the gloam, do you not? Just Gabrielle could probably help you, but she's not terribly knowledgeable with this. You do know about the gloam?
Yes, quite a bit.
Make sure that it is taken care of. I will meet you back at your place. See that the two newcomers, and he motions over to Fleric and Joseph. Make sure the two of them are with you. I will be back in maybe about an hour.
Okay.
And says to he says to the guard that militia that's there, and says, "You're in charge until I get back. Make sure this does not get out. Just say you can all hear him. Just it was a bear attack, and leave it at that for now. And we'll like, well, no one has actually seen except for you. Yeah, the bear attack. I will dispose of the body." Just make sure that is taken care of, and stand on guard. And if there's another attack, sound the horn and call me, and I will be back. And and he goes off, and he with surprising strength, he grabs this body and he drags it off across the field and into the forest. Does anyone, before he goes, anyone try to stop him?
Sounds like strange behavior.
Can
Well,
I
you probably don't
sneak
want
and follow him?
a bear body in the town, just sitting up there decomposing. But
Well,
you do want to try
Laura,
to. Sorry, Jose, you said you were going to try to follow him.
Oh, I was asking if I could sneak and follow him without him noticing.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Can I sneak and try to follow him without him noticing me?
You can try. Uh, Alistair, are you going to say anything to him? He looks like he's about to wander off and follow him.
Yeah, I'll walk back over. And firstly, I'm going to glance at the Gloam puddle. Does it look like they're taking care of it properly? At least as far as I know. Okay, then I'm just going to look to Larrick and say, okay, the captain wants to meet with us in an hour. He said he's got something to tell us. And I'll gesture to the other two and say he wanted you guys to be there as well. I don't know why, but I'm Alistair.
Speak of what you know, Orderist. This is your criticism and concern, and I gesture to the Gloam.
Quick thing. Sorry, is Alistair dressed as an artist? But yes, you did cast the spell, and people saw that. But are you dressed as an artist, or you're more? Because here's the thing: if you are casting spells, well, the town knows who you are. So,
Right.
Are you dressed as an artist?
Probably not specifically. I imagine that I still have whatever some sort of identifying symbol might be, if they have like an amulet or pin or something like that. But
they normally wear robes and a veil. But that's not the most practical stuff. If they are especially since you just came from out wandering the wilderness a bit. So you could have a pin, a symbol, a cloak clasp.
Yeah, it'd be probably a cloak clasp would be the most sensible.
I think in the other game I gave the artist a delicate amulet, as opposed to the Dawn Hammers, which have these big, thick, heavy amulets, like medallions with the symbol. The artists have a little more simple, a little finer quality with the symbol, but it's up to you exactly how you want to.
Yeah, I think this will be probably a cloak pin.
Okay.
So yeah.
So he is obviously, unless he stole it, but since the town nobody in the town seems preoccupied, not even the militia. Most likely, yes, Alistair is an artist. Sorry, yeah. You were saying, Daniel?
Oh, I was just saying, Alistair's the name? Yeah. What can you tell us of this Gloam?
I guess that part goes to you, Paul. What can I tell them about this Gloam?
Okay, quick thing, Jose. Are you still leaving?
Yeah. My bad.
After
I rolled a 24.
Well, no. After Alistair said that. So what you said that Caleb wanted to see all of us, all of you.
Yeah.
I guess I'll stick around.
So it's up to you, as if you want to stay here. Caleb said to stay here. Are you gonna go follow him, or are you gonna stay here? Is the question.
I'll stay here.
Okay, so if you share what you know about the Gloam, sometimes it's it can be a little parasitic, and if it doesn't kill the creature right away, like a hardy, resilient creature might be able to withstand it, or just could be luck, where it becomes twisted and maybe go against its nature, becoming a little savage and attack things, I guess, randomly. or well, more predatory, I guess is the term. And you have heard, Cameron, not Gloam related, but you did hear of monsters and stuff. This could be a monster, but nothing has attacked the town like this. This is like the militia may have seen something, or just rumors and stuff that other artists were talking about. But something attacking the town is the gloam infecting it could be a reason. And yeah, as I said, it creates like a parasitic bond that where it almost affects goes against the creature's better nature and could actually deform it a bit. Though, from what little you do know of what this creature was, it didn't look terribly deformed. It might have been maybe its arms a little longer, claws a little sharper, but you're not entirely certain. You've never really seen one up close. It could have just avoided, it could have been recently affected by the gloam, or it could have been like if you want to share this part here, it could have been recently affected by the gloam, or maybe was resisting it uh, to an extent. But the gloam itself, yeah, this if it doesn't kill something, it creates a parasitic bond with it.
I'll explain all that to
Yeah, and mundane bullets can damage, but may not do a lot of damage to the to the gloam itself. But like the fire did do damage. The magic would have done damage as well. The regular bullets may not have done a lot of damage to the gloam.
Can I use either nature or animal handling to look back at how the creature reacted during all of this? Especially when it comes to what's the leader of the guards, Marshall? Because it seemed odd that he was being avoided.
Well, out of all of you there, Caleb looked pretty intimidating. It could have
right,
been.
but
Give me a nature check or an insight. Let's see if you can recall something on that.
That's a 14.
If this was this bear, wolf creature, was affected by the gloam, it's a little odd that it would have avoided him unless, well, Alistair said that it it probably didn't look like it was affected much by it, like it was still affected mentally, but maybe it was resisting. It was a little odd, but Caleb was the most intimidating out of all of you. Not that he did much damage, but he was the most intimidating. You probably is a chance that maybe didn't want to go toe to toe with him and went after easier prey.
Well, I was just going off of my hunting instincts and how I'm a hunted one character.
Yeah, if a bear or wolf may not attack the largest creature, probably one that it.
Okay.
But you're not entirely certain. That was a nature check you rolled or insight?
Insight.
But there was something between the way Caleb reacted that you're not entirely certain. But yeah, it might have actually avoided Caleb, but you don't know if it's Caleb's imposing demeanor or if it was something more.
I'm just going to be wary.
Okay. So Gabrielle is sort of half paying attention. She was just more examining the. She
Hey,
was actually just bandaging up the wounds of the one soldier. He's not badly hurt. Um, and then he says, "If I am not needed anymore, I'm gonna go get a look on the other soldier." Oh, they're not really soldiers.
the militia.
Yeah, the other militia, the other scout, and see how he's doing. It was stable, but I just want to get a.
Um, I look at her and say, I patched him up the best I could. I think he just needs some rest and maybe a little bit more help later.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt your skill. I just want to see what I'm dealing with.
Oh yeah. He also, if he needs a hand back, we can help him back.
Yeah, so she leaves. The militia, who's the two of them standing there. One of them goes off. He goes, I need to update a little on let the mayor know. Well, no, he already left. But yeah, all that is known. This bear was covered in the gloam, and that's what he's going to report back. Um, nothing else has been discussed. Is that correct, Cameron? You didn't say anything else yet.
No, I don't think so.
So the guard had his orders. So now that he's satisfied that the gloam has been destroyed, except for the one sample that Gabrielle has, and she said, "I'm going to bring this back. I'm not going to work on it right now, but I'm going to keep it safe for now in case we need to study it a little bit. But I'll take proper precautions." And
As we head back, I look at Alistair and said, all this time you've been making me do all the hunting. When you can do that.
you're talking about the Eldritch Blast?
I'm just staring at him and giving him a grin.
He's just gonna shrug and like hold out his arm so that he can let Tally jump up and rest on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah, your dog, Flark, your dog comes up now that it avoids the burning puddle, obviously.
Probably doesn't care too highly for me either.
Why do you say that?
Actually, the dog walks around. He's not that he's avoiding. Actually, he only avoids. He doesn't growl, but he does avoid Joseph. But no, he doesn't approach anyone unless they're standing. If they're standing right next to Fleric, he will go right up to Fleric. But if Joseph, how close are you to Fleric?
I would imagine I'm nearby everybody.
He avoids you. If you're close to him, but the dog does look up at you, but it doesn't growl this time.
Okay.
The first time you guys met.
I'll pull out like some jerky from my bag and try to give it to the dog. See what happens.
I eye him suspiciously.
The dog doesn't. It just stays. It's not hiding exactly, but it's staying away from you. And if
He
you come
doesn't
close to it, it'll
He
back.
doesn't like you. Come here, Brigand. And I like rub his nose. I rub his ears, scratch him. I kneel down to pick up my gun. You said these guns have no effect on the gloom?
Very little. That's what he. Yeah. Oh, actually, Jose, give me a D10. Give me a D10 roll, but twice. Like, give me both two numbers. D10. Don't add them.
A 5 and a 8.
This is, we'll say, normal for you, but after this battle, like while you were fighting, you did see. When you were a child, is there any toy you played with? a doll, a
Probably
little,
like a wooden sword.
a wooden. Hmm. Okay, so this sword had was more of a round a shaft, like more of a training sword that maybe your father had you use. Well, maybe this was before a training sword, so it was a round wooden sword, like maybe made from a stick, and with a round guard that someone maybe carved for you. You see it out of the shadows. It rolls out of the shadows from around a corner. Well, just before you finish burning off the gloam, and it's exactly as you remember, except on the handle were some bloody fingerprints. This is normal for you, not specifically this, but you you occasionally you do see some things like this. Like you might you probably glance over now where it was and it's gone now that after you've burnt off all the gloam. So this was before you, but you look now and it's gone. But you realize this is normal, I guess.
Yeah, I think he would start reaching in his bag and get like a little flask and like take a swig.
Okay. So you told them that yeah, Kayla wants to see them in about an hour. You guys gonna just head over to there now, or are you gonna go somewhere else?
Well, do I think that he'll come to my place or his place?
No, he said he'll meet at your place.
Uh,
Does Alistair say that?
Yeah, that's what I would have told everybody, since that's what Caleb told me.
well, I guess I've got house guests. And
Uh,
he takes you out to his little abode. Um, it is a simple little shack, basically. It used to be a farmhouse before the gloom, and it's one of the simple type, probably about a 20 by 30 main space, and then like one sleeping loft. And you notice that there's an extra hammock strung up, but it's really high, and you wouldn't think normally someone would sleep in it.
Basically, it is stone. All the buildings here, uh, well, most of the buildings are stone. This one is it. This one happens to be stone, but you can with a wooden roof. There are a few wooden structures in town, but most of the homes are stone. And this it has a bit of a back or side yard. It used to be a farm at one point, but as I said, it's a one room with a loft area and the two sleeping areas. So one area you said has a hammock, unless they both have hammocks. That's what you set up for.
Uh, no, I ended when Alistair came. I ended up giving him the sleeping loft that's actually mine, and I strung a hammock up. But I don't have a problem with heights, so generally it's a lot higher than what most people would string a hammock at. I just didn't want it interfering with any more space in the room.
Oh no, there's two sections in the loft with two ladders. One was probably the parents and one children. So there's two sleeping areas with a wooden wall in between them, but they're open. Um, there's like a half. So you climb up. There's like a half wall and then a full solid wall uh, in between the two sleeping areas.
Okay.
I said it's just an old, what used to be an old farmhouse.
Also, there are some old trees and a small vegetable patch still. They are fruit trees. They just generally don't look like they have much fruit normally on them.
So there is fruit growing on some of these trees.
Nothing major. To be honest with you, it's more of residuals of him doing the same trick a few times at home.
Yeah, if you've done Goodberry before, it was just lasts for the day. But we'll say the fruit is it's no longer Goodberry, but the fruit is still well enough to eat. So yeah, there's probably a few small fruits, maybe we'll say plums or something, and there could be a herb garden if you want.
Hmm.
Few plants, but it is still a lot of it is still sickly. But it is you've helped a few people through town, but there's only so much you could do in 6 months with your limited ability.
With my hidden talents.
Yes, that's why I said limited. If you were full knowledge, you might be able to do a little more, but as I said, it's still very difficult given the circumstances. uh, so yes, you sit around. Do you guys? Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Supposed to play, I guess, 9 to 12. Do you guys play a little bit longer, or do you guys want to wrap it up shortly? Jose, can you keep playing for a bit?
Yeah, I can keep playing, but it's up to you. You're running the game.
Well,
So.
I can play till like it's almost 20 after 12 for me. I can play until 2 if you guys want, because we didn't start until like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Uh, did you, John? Can you play a little longer, or do you want to wrap it
I'm
up?
game either way.
Daniel? Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up shortly. Cameron, yeah. Well, I guess with Daniel leaving, we'll just wrap it up. Um, anything you guys want to do before Caleb returns? You guys sit in silence.
I think I would
I
go
go
to.
ahead and put on some tea, water, and reheat some stew that I had saved or something.
Yeah,
I
you
eat
can
this.
go ahead.
Yeah, I eat this good berry, and which is an apple. You said right.
Uh-huh.
And I immediately start looking around for other fruit trees, knowing that this is probably the most delicious apple I've ever eaten.
Well, it's very nourishing. It's not. Well, it actually might be the most delicious you've ever eaten, but it's still it's plump. There are a few wrinkles in it. Like it may have been a little sickly at one point, but it's like plumped up a little. Uh, and it is a nice bright red. There's no.
Well, a welcome change from like eating rations and living on the road, and you know
There are
the
a
fare
few.
that I can scrap together. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not sure what the fare was on the ship.
It. There wasn't a lot. It was probably rations. You don't really go. You don't want to be lighting a fire on a blimp. There,
Um,
though there is probably fire on there, but no one wants to start a fire in the middle of it for safety reasons. So it's probably you've been on dried rations for a while. Sorry, go ahead, John.
when I noticed that he's just short of eating the core, and as quick as he is, I said, "Slow down a little, slow down. There's plenty," and I toss him another.
Yeah, you have
Thank thank you.
a collection of some fruit, um, and a stew with a vegetable stew, but you can maybe have a little bit of meat in there as well. It's stew is probably the easiest thing to make in a place like this. The fish aren't always the best. The game isn't always the best, so you have to make do with combination of things.
Yeah, what's the landscape? What are the conditions of the building? I look at around. Is this place? How did this thing? I got like an aerial view of this place as we were coming upon it. So how did this creature um, get among us without a
Well,
warning cry?
it's not a tiny island. Like there's enough for a small fishing farming village. There might be a few farms just outside. Right outside is a big rocky area, not a large field. So it's large enough for a blimp to land, but not for any farms. Just on the edge of town is where you are in an abandoned farm. Uh, Past the open field is a forested area. Uh, Theoretically, there could be stuff hiding out there. Like it's the size of the small village. The island is probably, we'll say, 10 times the size of the village. It's not a huge island, but it is still a decent size that it could have been hiding out there or somehow came across. You don't exactly know.
Probably Joseph's would notice when he came in as he's walking around. One of the floorboards has more give because there is an emergency shelter in there.
Joseph left the building.
Ooh, gone. Yeah, I go looking for how this thing, because it came from the outside. It cleared the perimeter wall, so I backtrack it over the wall, and I look for tracks in the direction it came.
So you're gonna leave?
I just go up to the perimeter wall, and I just try to discern its matter of approach upon the town.
So you're gonna leave. You're basically where the front of the entrance to the town, where the open rocky area. You guys are off just a little outside of the town with a small wooden, small stone wall around. Probably combination of wood and stone. Yeah. So I guess you leave. Anyone say anything to him? No. Okay. If no one says anything, yeah, Fleric, you can head out and take a look, but you're not going to leave too far, right?
Oh no, like I would be. I mean, do the tracks lead away from the town?
Oh, Jose's has no internet right now. Okay, give me a survival check.
Sure. Come on, Brigand.
Disadvantage.
Help me out. Can I use my dog's keen sight? Can he aid me? Can Brigand aid me?
All right, I will give you just straight up roll because you're at disadvantage because of the rock terrain. So I'll just allow you to.
Okay, it's an 8.
Okay, hold on. Let me just tell Jose. Yeah, you can't find much in the way of tracks. It's rocky. There is some dirt, but you can't really make out anything. And the direction Caleb went, you don't know if he's where he brought the thing, but you don't know where this creature exactly came from. You might be able to pick up its tracks further in the forest, but that'll take you a while to find out. You know, from the direction it came, you have a rough idea, but it might take you a while if you want to go further into the forest.
I'm really just looking for its matter of approach, like how it got from where it was. Like if it came from this wooded area, what's the distance between the perimeter wall and that wood?
Oh, it's a large, open, rocky field, enough for a blimp to land. Maybe even 2 blimps if they left some room. But let's say 100 feet. Like something can't from land. If someone is watching and with enough light, there wouldn't be that something wouldn't been able to approach unless it's a little stealthy. Maybe there's some rocks it could hide behind. But
does this town have a port, or is this like an otherwise wooded area?
It's a park fishing village, so there is a dock, but not in the way of a actual port, not for a large ship. So, yeah, without Jose being able to join us, I'm going to leave the ending. So we're just going to wrap up. Like any more talk, if you guys want to talk or anything, anything you want to do before Caleb won't show up till next session. Then. Um, so yeah, you if someone's watching and with enough light, yeah, this you can't. If there is more of these creatures, they won't be able to just approach the town unless they're being very stealthy. Uh, it's possible, but a guard on duty with enough light, and there are. You do notice now. I don't know if you noticed before. There are uh, lamps, like a lot of street lamps, but outside of the town where the uh, they go a certain way from the town that use blow gas, which is what for street lamps and for the dirigibles. Essentially, it's a lot similar to hydrogen in sense. It burns. It has some properties, so it's enough that you can use it as a blimp to. But you can also use it as a lighting source. It's not controlled. It's not explosive. Like it'll just burn. So it's used in street lamps, and there are a few just outside of town and a few in town as well. They're not lit right now, but you see that. So they might light them at night.
I go ask some of the militia. I say, have these creatures besieged this town before?
There is one who, the two that went off scouting haven't come back, but the one that went to go speak, um, one went off to speak to her. So the one that was slightly injured is still there. The one that was pounced upon, um, it's she's looking a lot better. Just a, not really. She wasn't really injured so much. She says, "Oh, there was always talk of creatures, but nothing has ever attacked here. Oh, we've had maybe occasional deep one being so close to the water, but not. I haven't seen one of those. And actually, I'm gonna backtrack. No, not even a deep one. Nothing like I've seen deep ones before in other places, but here nothing's really attacked us ever. We've been occasional wild animal, but they don't. Nothing's come in to attack this town as far as I can remember. At least maybe when I was younger, but not anything recently. And sure,
Well,
there's nothing like that before.
it seems the curse that blights this whole land has reached you now.
It
And
would
what you
appear
do,
so.
and what you do from here on out will determine your fate. I suggest you put a watch on this wall and consider building it higher. That creature cleared it with little ease.
Once Caleb returns, he'll. There's always a watch or two here. We're just. I've called in some of the militia. The mayor is gonna get them, so we'll get at least we'll double the watch for now. But
Did an alarm bell sound when the attack went off?
no, only because Caleb was here. He usually, if he's present, he has a loud enough voice. It's not a large town. Oh, there we go. There
I
is.
had to reset the modem.
Oh, yeah, no problem. We didn't. We're just. Um, basically, Fleric has left the building, and he's just wandering outside near the entrance to the town. Within sight, you guys can see him out of a window. He's looks like he's talking with one of the uh, militia, the guards now. um, he said, "Yeah, But Caleb will direct all that. I just report and do my job. We're gonna, someone's gonna come and join me, one of the other militia, and keep an eye on this. As I said, I'll let the mayor and Caleb decide what to do. That's not my, I'm not good at that sort of planning stuff like that. But I'll bring up your idea to make the wall a little higher or some sort of defense or something. Like I said, I don't remember seeing any bears or stuff, but I don't know
Uh,
before. But I don't know. he goes, I gotta get back. I gotta stay focused until someone comes and helps me here
Yeah, you do
by
so.
myself for now. Like I said two people are off scouting, and so is injured, so I can by myself until I get some help.
Also, she sits here alone, waiting for her replacement.
Well, normally
Injured.
she has someone with her. Like there happened to be 4 guards here when you showed up, and one that got badly injured. You don't know exactly how they do this, but she is by herself right now. But 2 were sent out by Caleb into the scouting, and one of them is injured, so they're probably just waiting for backup right now.
Well, then I wait with her.
Yeah, it's not long before someone shows up. A few other guards show up. They look like one is looks like a fisherman really, but he joins up on the wall and keeps an eye out, and then an older woman comes up and takes a spot on the other side.
Okay.
So
Well, seeing that they have things in order, I make my way to the house.
Okay, so Jose, I don't know if when you left, but Lyric provides you with some stew and some fruits and stuff. Not the best looking, but maybe the best. Well, the best you've had in a while. You haven't really. You might have had some fresh fruits or vegetables aboard the ship, but it was mostly rations. Uh,
Oh man, I can't complain about food. I would definitely thank them and eat it.
yeah, stew is something new. You haven't had that in a while. Not something new, but you haven't had a warm meal in a while. Um, so you guys sit. Do the 3 of you say discuss anything before Lyric comes back?
Um, so them two have been in the
Yeah, I
town
say this
for a
town
while,
is
right?
horribly ill defended.
Well, you're not back yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
just going to
I
give him a
did.
chance to because you left and didn't give him a chance to do anything. Sorry, Jose, you were saying?
Um, what do you call it? Alistard and I forgot
Fler-
John's guy.
Fleric.
Yeah, and
Lyric.
Clark.
Sorry, Lyric.
They've been in the town for a while, right?
Well, you can ask them.
Oh yeah, you guys been here for a while, right?
A few months.
Alistair will nod.
What is there to do here?
Find herbs, plant trees. Um,
All you know, there is a tavern. It doesn't get a lot of. It might get a little business around breakfast or lunch. Um, the place is a little communal. Everyone is. It's not like someone fishes and sells fish. It's more like communal food and stuff. Some people, if someone needs food, someone will give it to them. It's a small, close knit community, and there is a tavern. People might go there, maybe breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Later on at dinner, there is some drinking, maybe some games. It's we say tavern. It's not exactly. It's like someone has a large space enough to hold most of the town, if not with a little bit of extra room. This town is a lot smaller than it used to be. Actually, we'll say yeah, there was a tavern, so it is a full tavern, and someone they have a
but it's treated more like a longhouse.
yeah, it's more for the well, people go there. People have places to stay, but there is some places to stay there if someone you guys might have been there when you first showed up in town. So it's not really there aren't rooms. It's just a big common space and that part of someone's house, but a big common space that someone set up into a bar long ago, and someone's still running it as a like a little bar area, like a communal space. It might even double as a instead of a common square outside, a common room, I guess, for the town. That's about the closest to entertainment or something to do social stuff. They play games and stuff, try to be merry in there, despite everything that's going on outside. Uh, if you're talking about jobs, people always could use help, but not much in the way of paying. You do get a few traders in once in a while and stuff, but there is a little coin that does trade hands, but not a lot. Anything else you want to discuss?
Is this the first time you guys seen like an attack like this?
First time I have.
Yeah, same. I've seen similar things in other places, but not here yet.
So, Fleric, as you see the militia guard comes up, they notice. Looks like by the time you guys walked over and stuff, it's been about 45 minutes. You guys went there, came back. You were waiting for the guard. Someone says they notice something coming out of the forest, and if you guys are they draw their weapons, not so much aggressive, but they are keeping up. One of them has a rifle with a scope, and he looks in and says, "Oh, it's just Caleb." And scan the rest of the forest line. Says looks like he's alone. So the rest of them put their guns back down, like not away, but put them down.
But we knew that he went in with 2 other soldiers.
No, he sent the 2 soldiers out, and then he went shortly afterwards, dragging the body.
But yet he's the only one that returns now.
Yes. Actually, I'm going to say, no, yeah, I'll say the other 2 soldiers. I forgot about them. Yeah, the 3 of them come back. And they come back, and he gives out some orders and stuff, and they have a little talk, and you can listen in. And he says, "Okay, everything looks fine out there. Just keep an eye out. Sound the horn. I will be here. I didn't see anything else in there myself. We should be fine, but just keep your eyes open and double the guard out here. And the rest of you, there are a few more. The guard is essentially scouts and then villagers. Some of the scouts are also double as hunters and stuff like that. So it goes double up. Just be ready when you're not out doing other stuff. You're here, and I'll be back. And he looks over at you, Fleric, and he says, "I'd like to talk to you for a moment. I'm headed over to over there." He motions toward Lyric and Alistair's place there.
And are you, Caleb? Your town is ill defended. That attack came unwarned.
He, in a little lower voice, he says, "We need to talk. Can you join me?"
I follow him.
So he heads over and he shows up, and he comes in, and he says, "So just the 5 of you now. It's not much. I'm gonna have to trust you guys with something, some information, and like, do not. I don't want anyone else to know in the town, only because I don't want to. Don't want anyone to worry. At least not yet. He looks now that he's got. Yeah, he looks over all of you. It says, "Some of you have been here for a while. I can hopefully trust you to keep a bit of a secret." Fleric, I hope, and uh, and Joseph, I hope you guys can. If you don't can't keep a secret, but we really need your help. So I hope you guys can all keep a secret. Is that possible? Anyone have any objections to that?
I shake my head. No, I don't have any problems with that.
Same.
I don't normally talk around, but
Basically, that was not a bear, but that is the story we're going to stick to. That was a werewolf. An acquaintance of mine, actually. This is not in his nature to do stuff like this. There are.
when he starts to say that, you notice Lark start to back away.
He says there's a small handful of them, maybe 10 of them on this island. They are not aggressive. They have actually helped me out a few times, and they came here uh, about the same time I did, maybe about 10. It was about almost 15 years now. They have kept this place safe, but something is happening that the Gloam has reached here, and this combined with the Shriek, like the Gloam affected him. It didn't affect him as much as it might have someone else. He managed to hold back. He would have probably torn most of you to shreds. I don't. At least the militia. At least you seem a little more capable. If they all came, we wouldn't have survived. But they don't appear to be affected. This he was out on his own and stumbled into it by himself. I don't know if they're going to look into it. There, it's may or may not be a concern, but they are concerned that since they are a little more resistant to the gloam, they have been able to keep it at bay. And the Shriek hasn't been here, but that I am a little worried. Shriek has affected a few too many villagers as of late. They did protect us, but something is happening. There is something else here. And I said, I don't want to alarm anyone, the mayor or the villagers, but if you could go looking, see if there's a source that is countering what the werewolves, as we call them, the lichen, are what they are doing. Will you help me in this? I said it must be kept a secret from everyone else, at least for now. Hopefully, it will not get any worse. I need you to just go out, see if you can find something that's causing all this.
I'm on board.
Yeah, same here. I don't have anything better to do.
I can, well, I can give you what few coin I have and convince the mayor to part with a little more once after all this. Once we'll tell him afterwards. But as I said, we don't want to alarm anyone too much, and as long as you're here, and I'll say you're working for me, you guys obviously get a place to stay and food as well. and what meager other help that we can give. Gabrielle might have a few things for you to help out. So I said it's
Lark did not freak at the ooze monster. He looks ashen faced and has backed towards the corner he can least that Marshall would be the last place he would notice.
so yeah. So basically, I'm asking if you have any questions, I can answer them to the best. The lichen tried to remain unseen by the villagers. Once in a while, they are seen. It's unavoidable, but I said they don't attack um, anyone, and they haven't as long as they've been here. The scouts have not. They avoid the scouts as much as possible. They said usually the scouts at sea. Very few people leave the town except for the scouts for the hunting and maybe the fishermen out in the water. I said, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I ask you what a lichen is.
It's a werewolf. They are.
I mean, do I know what that is? Do I know that it's a half beast, half man, and
They are
that
not
it?
like. Yes, they are werewolves. Some of the legends are not true. Some are. These are an, a natural creature. They are not. Uh, they do not have a curse to them. They. That said, they are. They can shift between wolf form, as the one you saw, and a more human form.
But not completely human. Can they? They cannot pass as human.
I'm going to say no. They cannot pass as human, though they are larger than most. Most of them tend to be larger than humans, even covered up with their longer feet. It almost looks. You can obviously tell that the leg does not. They have. They walk on their toes, so they are taller. They are about. Who here is? Which of the characters is tall besides Caleb? I guess
I'm pretty tall. I'm about 6'1".
they are about your size and mine in height, but they stand on their toes, so they have an extra foot and a half, most of them on us. And yeah, they have obviously claws and teeth and stuff. So that yeah, you don't want to fight one. I said they prefer not to attack them, and they will leave us alone, but they will help us. And he gives you um, each a medallion and has he gives you no, not an, he gives you all just dried herb if anyone wants to make a check. Well, I'm not going to give it. This is we'll say it's a herb, but in the way they're bundled up in a certain way. And he goes, if you carry this on you, they will know you to be a friend, and if you do seek them out, they will make themselves known to you if you need to. And yeah, it's bundled a certain way. And as if you attach it somewhere on you visible, it does have a strong smell, uh, but it not like nothing overpowering or anything. But uh, they will know you are a friend. He puts four of them down on the table. Like I said, they. I'm not asking you to go speak to them. I'm asking you to look elsewhere and see if you can find any source of what's causing all this. Any, but yeah, they cannot pass for human. They do hide further into the forest, more on the southern side. It's a little bit more overgrown there. Scouts don't usually go that far. They go to the nearby forest hunting, just keeping an eye on stuff. That's about it. We send out a small patrol every day just to get a, but they don't go that far. Any questions?
Let's do something about the defense of this town. We may be unsuccessful in finding a source. You should consider building a trench, filling it with wooden stakes.
Says
I will.
item, this is locked.
Yeah, I will see to the town's defenses. Um, Probably going to. The ground is a little bit rocky on the outside, but we might be able to build. Instead, might be able to build a barricade. May take a while. There's not a lot of trees in here, but send out a few scouts to take out a few trees off of the forest, just off of the edge. Even the ones that are probably already fallen. We can come up with some defenses here in town. But I said I'll worry about the town's defenses. We need to find the source of all this. That is a little more important. You could see. I said Gabrielle might have something that can help you. Actually, knowing her, did she collect a sample of the gloam of that liquid that was all over the creature? All of you saw that, so
Yes, she did.
yeah, she. If she you could, if applying it to your weapons will give you a little bit of a advantage, and it'll give you effectively it's poisonous to things. It might help you if you need to defend yourselves against something. Hopefully, you won't need it, but yeah, it might be able to help you. So ask her for. She might give you a small vial of that stuff that will help you out. Which Cameron, Alistair knows that properties of it. So if you apply it to a weapon, it gives you it lasts for up to 4 hours, and and it'll give you an extra, we'll say, d6 of poison damage.
Okay.
Anything else? 'Cause I have to get to see the defenses, so you can report. You could head out now, and I don't recommend staying outside at night. So when it starts getting dark, I recommend coming back, or you could start early in the morning. It's just after. I think it was, yeah. It still might be before lunch, so it's you guys. Well, lunchtime, so you guys are eating.
I think after everything that happened, we should probably just relax and go in the morning.
So yeah,
Um,
go see Gabrielle today. See what she can what she has to help you. um, I will speak with her. Well, actually, yeah. You just have to don't let her know too much. But just say you're off. Find the source of this, but keep it. Just don't tell anyone else. She is a good person, so she will be able to help you. So if there's no other questions, I have to get going. And with that, Caleb leaves to go see about to the defenses, and for the rest of you guys, try to recover a bit. Yeah, Daniel, that yeah, you no longer feel whatever rations you have on you. You feel it's fine. That feeling is gone. Yeah, well, shortly afterwards, that feeling that your stuff is contaminated by the gloam.
Sure.
And we'll call it there unless you have any other questions. But we'll continue. We'll pick up at that point next time. So I'd like to say thank you, everyone who may have been watching this or will watch this. We'll do some outros now. We'll go start off with Cameron.
Nothing from me.
Do you have any channels or things to plug?
Nope.
Daniel.
No, I just want to say thanks, Paul, for running. It was good, and look
Pleasure.
forward to next time.
John.
Interesting game. I think it'll be a lot more mysteries coming up, and it's been fun playing.
And Jose.
Well, like always, thanks for letting me play in your game, and I definitely can't wait to see what happens next.
I can't wait either. I know a couple things. I don't know it all. We'll see. We'll see what's happening. So thank you, everyone, and check out absolutetabletop.com if you want to pick up Shadows over Drift Chapel. As I said, you can run a quick one-shot style of game, or you can create a more intricate setting, as what we did here. You can have the players roll. We did during session 0, or you can pre-roll everything, roll it on the fly. There's a lot you can use. The pre-made scenario with a few rolls to have it going. It's still like a dungeon crawl, even though this is a little more of a village. Or you can with Shadow. Oath of the Frozen King was a little more of a traditional dungeon crawl, but can be refluffed into other stuff as well. Like I say, thank you for watching, and see you next time.